Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell right here in the Weather Center. We've been really analyzing a lot of things across the area today, so we want to get you caught up on what's happening right now and what's to come. We know we have the cold air already in place. Look at these numbers here. We've dropped to 7 degrees in St. Louis. At one point this morning, we're down around 5-6 degrees. Now, there is a little snow showing up on the radar screen down to the south. Those are mid-level clouds. That is not reaching the ground. And this air is incredibly dry. And we've talked about that. That limits us on Saturday with the initial wave of snow. And that's why we don't think Saturday is the biggest problem. It is very late Saturday night and into the first part of Sunday when we're going to see the biggest problem. But already snow breaking out here across parts of Kansas. You're already looking down towards Amarillo. It's some snow breaking out down there. 13 in Amarillo right now. Wichita's down to 9. Look at Chicago. They have sunshine, but it's 5 degrees below zero in Chicago right now. Talk about wind chills. Feels like 24 below in Chicago, 14 below in Springfield, Illinois, 11 below is our wind chill right now. Tomorrow morning, I think we're going to be looking at wind chills in that 10 to 20 degree below zero range. We should ease a little bit as we get into the evening around St. Louis on the wind chills, but they're still going to be bitterly cold. And there is no way we get out of that aspect of this system over the next few days. All right, here's a look downtown. And at this point, clouds are starting to roll in. There's still some thin spots in the cloud cover. There's still some breaks here and there, so a little hint of some sunshine in a few places. We look out into St. Charles County. Roads are still dry. They'll stay dry this evening, overnight tonight, and for most of us in the metro area through the morning tomorrow until around 9 to 11 o'clock. That's when we think the snow will start falling in the metro area. So you look at these 24-hour temperature changes. We've dropped 31 degrees since where we were this time yesterday. The cold Arctic air is continuing to surge onto the south. That sets the stage, okay? So we really have a three-part problem here. First part of that is what we're experiencing now, and it's going to last perhaps into Tuesday morning. We'll see. But sub-zero wind chills here. Wind chills are below zero area-wide right now. There's no spot where the wind chill is above zero. Those wind chills will stay below zero for most of us the entire weekend until about midday Monday. The worst of it is going to be Saturday morning and Monday morning. Those wind chills will be in the 10 to 20 degree below zero range. First wave of snow. That's basically in the metro area from about 10 o'clock to 5 o'clock on Saturday. Now, west and southwest of St. Louis, it's a little bit sooner on its arrival time. Okay? East and northeast of St. Louis, you'll probably have to wait until maybe 1 or 2 o'clock in some cases before you see your first flakes because that dry air is eating into the snow. You have to moisten the atmosphere from the cloud layer where you have 100% relative humidity down to the ground where the humidity may be still 40 or 50%. The air is so dry. Second wave is the big impactful one when it comes to snow. So that second wave is coming in later Saturday night. You may still, if you have plans Saturday evening, you may still be able to get around. You know, you have to take it a little slower, but you may still be able to get around without too much of a problem. But try to wind it down before that heavy snow arrives. And we're thinking in the metro area, it's somewhere along the lines of around 10 o'clock or so. Maybe a little sooner, maybe a little later. Exact timing, of course, always changes. I mean, that's still, more than 24 hours away. So give us an hour or two. But before that heavy snow starts in, you need to get where you're going to get and prepare to stay there through the day on Sunday and into Monday. Travel is going to be abysmal early Sunday morning and through the day on Sunday. It just doesn't look like we can get rid of that option. There's not much you can do with the amount of snow that we're expecting in short order. So speaking of snowfall totals, we do think there could be some sleet mixing in down to the south. So we've kind of nudged that back a little bit. We also have 10 to 13 plus in here. I think your heaviest snow band is more likely than not going to be from the Rolla area back towards Potosi, over towards Crystal City, maybe Farmington, St. Genevieve, Sparta, Shiloh, Smithton, Illinois, to Nashville, over towards Centralia and Salem. There will be a couple of narrow bands where we would expect to see 13, 14, maybe 15 inches of snow. They'd be very narrow, but we're going to see some banding of snow in this. We'll show it to you in a minute here, what we're looking for. We still think our northern tier of counties here, lesser amounts, no less of an impact. 6 to 8 inches of snow with temperatures in those areas, most likely not even getting into the double digits on Saturday. And this Sunday, it's a stretch to get much above 15. All right, here it is, the big storm system. This is the broad view. Here we are in St. Louis. Right now, just the clouds rolling in and the cold air. We go back to the west, the snow's starting to break out. Colorado, southern Utah, Kansas, panhandle of Texas, freezing rains headed towards Dallas. All this moisture will continue to just expand as we go through the next 12 hours or so. That's the first part of it. And now we have the energy dropping down along the west coast. And so as that energy and this system, as they kind of try to phase together, that's what gives us this prolonged period of unsettled, active winter weather across the bi-state region. The good news for the vast majority of us is it is all snow. So we're not talking about power outages because of ice. We're not talking about a lot of sleet in St. Louis, but we are talking about snow for us. Now, farther south, this is going to be a historic ice storm for some portions of Texas, Louisiana, into Arkansas, perhaps into Mississippi, as well as parts of Tennessee. We're still thinking that icy mix down to our south. This is where the greatest threat of really significant life-threatening impacts will be down to the south. I mean, you lose power and you're out of power for several days and it's as cold as it's going to be. Those folks to our south are really going to be in a conundrum. Look at all the dark blue here. That dark blue shading, it's been nudging consistently farther north, and that's why we have the snowfall totals expected that we do in St. Louis. Again, when we look at this, for the metro area onto the south, it's all dark blue. The question is there some sleet that mixes in from Carbondale to Perryville to Madison County, back down to Ironton and Centerville? Yes, that's a possibility, and that could limit the amount of snowfall totals. The impacts for all of us are the same. No one is going to drive quickly anywhere on Sunday. All right, here's the setup this evening. The Arctic high pressure is settling into the north of us. We already have those stiff winds out of the north. My goodness, they were gusting this morning, over 20 miles per hour. The dogs were not happy. I wasn't happy taking the dogs out. You probably are in the same situation, and it's not going to get any better here. So the snow will still be well to our west. This is dry air being pushed in. So as the snow tries to push closer to us overnight tonight and into early tomorrow morning, you notice that leading edge wasn't overly dramatic. By 9 o'clock, we have a little bit of the lighter colors in here. Odds are we're not seeing that reach the ground in St. Louis. Now this, down to our south and southwest, that atmosphere moistens faster. And that's where some of the heavier precipitation will be. And because the heavier snow's there, it's able to overcome that dry air sooner. Once we overcome the dry air, there won't be additional problems in getting the snow to reach the ground, okay? So that first wave goes through during the day tomorrow. We get a little bit of a break tomorrow evening. You may still be able to run out, in your neighborhood to a restaurant that's close by if you had some dinner plans, or you maybe want to support your local businesses, because this is a big impact for our local businesses. This is kind of the quiet time of the year when people don't eat out as much. So if you were planning on going, you may still be able to, but just know you don't want to be out late. See these darker blues back to the west? Watch them slide into our area. As that happens during the overnight hours on Sunday and into Sunday morning, that's when our heaviest snow will fall. And even here as we head into Sunday, we're at 3 o'clock southeast of St. Louis. We're probably still looking at some heavier snow. Now, the warmer air does get in here to the west of the Appalachians, and so that'll change the freezing rain and the wintry mix over to mostly rain. But if those areas get a half an inch or 3/4 of an inch of ice, that's going to yank down power lines before it switches over to rain. So that's where our concerns are for these folks down to the south. It becomes a really life-threatening situation for them if you're without power. And then it's going to stay cold behind this. The ice will be from about Charlotte, upstate of South Carolina, in through the Piedmont of North Carolina, and then up into much of Virginia. Let's get more local. This is our view that we're looking at. This is 6 o'clock on Saturday morning. Keep in mind when we show you our future cast, it's one model run. They will be adjusted a little bit. Having said that, there's been a pretty good consensus on the models we've been showing you and the future cast we've been sharing with you as to what's going to transpire. You see tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, there's a little bit of light snow showing up south and west here. I'm not even sure that may be reaching the ground down towards Sullivan. It'll be close, but as you get down towards Rolla, Centerville, Farmington, by 9 or 10 o'clock, you are starting to pick up some snow. And there's no question that it will be snow that sticks. So by lunchtime, it spreads across. And see, we have a little bit of darker blue here. So that's indicating that, yes, the snow picks up a little bit in intensity. As we go towards 3, 4 o'clock, you see we're kind of breaking it up a little bit, and we get this bit of a lull. That's going to take us into the evening hours. Now, it does not last all night long. By the time we get to 10 or 11 o'clock, notice we're starting to see those darker blues coming at us out of the Ozarks. This is going to be a big problem. Look at all this dark blue. Everywhere you're seeing this darker blue, that's indicative of heavier precipitation. And in this case, for us, most of us, it's heavy snow. Now, you notice some of that purple far to the south, that's more of a mix of sleet. So there is that potential. There could be some sleet in here. If it stays all snow, there's also still the chance you could end up with, more than 13 inches of snow. 8 a.m., snow's still falling pretty good rate here around St. Louis, our Illinois counties, and down to the south, starting to let up a little in intensity as you go back to the west. Let's go forward a little more. Still have one more band to squeeze out here as we head towards lunchtime. And then as we head towards 3, 4 o'clock, that lets up. It'll be a pretty dramatic end, I think, to where we're just dealing with a few flurries. By 6 o'clock, the clearing line's trying to advance into the north. Now, this model may be just a hair too fast on that, but the bottom line is, from Saturday, once that heavier snow band comes in, through Sunday morning, and until that heavier snow band gets out of here, I mean, we're looking probably at 5 to 8 inches of snow in a 6 to 10 hour period, late Saturday night, early Sunday. Road crews are going to be out, but there's only so much you can do when it's snowing at the rate that it will be snowing. So our expected snow totals, again, heaviest amounts, the bullseye here is really across our region. Locally, more than a foot of snow, certainly possible. 13, 14 inches, not going to rule it out. I think most of us in the metro are probably going to be pretty close to 10 inches, give or take a little bit. I can't really see how we could get less than 8 inches out of this system in St. Louis based on everything we're seeing right now. I just can't see it. And I think that goes for most of us. Now, going north of St. Louis because of the dry air influences initially, 6 to 8, 5 to 8, that still looks like a reasonable expectation there. But the bottom line is it is going to be incredibly cold through the duration of this entire event. The snow is going to pile up. There'll be no problems with it accumulating. It's a very dry, fine, powdery snow, the kind that will blow around very easily without a whole lot of wind. And we're not anticipating a whole lot of wind while it's snowing. Most of that will come later Sunday into Sunday night, which of course then again creates problems for the road crews trying to clear it. Now, if you're going out this evening, the only thing you need to be worried about are these cold temperatures. Wind chills are going to be around 10 degrees below zero this evening in St. Louis. We're staying in the single digits. Generally, mostly cloudy skies. Not expecting any snow this evening. Not expecting snow overnight. If you have plans early tomorrow morning, we don't have any issues for you there. Cold weather advisory. Okay, in addition to the winter storm, look at the cold weather advisory and for parts of Arkansas, Oklahoma, and Texas, even New Mexico. That's an extreme cold warning. You also have that for part of Pennsylvania and into the Northeast. Obviously, the criteria in Maine for an extreme cold warning versus Texas is totally different. But the impacts, Mainers, Michiganers, they're used to bitter cold. Texas people, as cold as it's going to get, they're not used to any of that, and their infrastructure is not used to that. Our big focus for this is going to be during the morning hours, late night tonight into the morning hours tomorrow for the coldest of temperatures. Then the winds and the cold still sticks with us, but the winds ease a little bit, and it's not quite as cold Saturday afternoon, Saturday night, and into Sunday. But by Sunday night into Monday, I suspect we'll get another one of these cold weather advisories. So the bitter cold, again, it's 3 parts to this. Phase 1 is here. Part 1 is here. The bitter cold is here. We're sticking with it through Monday. There's also another chance we would have more bitter cold by next Thursday morning and Friday morning. Just putting that out there. That's next week. We're not doing the weather impact alert for that yet because we have this. So we got to get through this one first. Sub-zero wind chills, you got them. Probably for more than 48 hours. Well, probably 72 hours. Let's see. We've had them since this morning. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday morning. We know Monday morning, more than 72 hours. Okay, I'm just doing math in the head. First wave of snow, metro area, 10 to 5 is what we're thinking here on Saturday, roughly. It may change an hour or two. The impacts are still the same. There's going to be some travel issues. The travel issues aren't as bad Saturday as they will be on Sunday. You need to prep for that. And I know Saturday, some of us only have, by the end of the day, an inch or two on the ground. You're going to be saying, these people are messing with our minds. This is not happening. It's happening. The second phase of that, coming late Saturday night into Sunday, is the one that really puts down the snow. That's the one that really is going to just bring an end to any non-essential travel. We know there's a lot of folks that have to get out and have to work. Our hospital workers, a lot of service workers, first responders, they have to get to work. They don't have options. There are plans in place for a lot of people to stay close to where they work so that they can be there. But it is going to be rough going across the area on Sunday for travel. And if you have an errand to run or, you ran out of bread, Sunday you can live without bread for another day or two. We're not looking at power disruptions. We're not looking at water supply disruptions in general, although wouldn't be surprised to see some water main breaks with this cold air tonight into tomorrow morning. These are your lows, all single digits, close to 0. Wouldn't be surprised if a few spots are, even below 0 for the actual temperature tomorrow morning. Our wind chills, they're already there. And you see, we're staying at or below 0 right through Saturday, and that's going to take us into Sunday. And the winds pick back up on Sunday afternoon. So it's this combination of cold and snow that has our weather impact alert running here through midday on Monday. Notice the temperatures here dropping off some as we head towards next week. We have to watch, Wednesday morning, I think we're kind of maybe not as windy as we will be Wednesday night, but these numbers here for the lows, they may be something that we have to deal with additional cold weather advisories. And, I know the kids are all asking, and parents plan for this now. Kids are all asking, what about school? Well, I doubt anybody's going to school Monday. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, the areas that get the heaviest snow outside of the metropolitan area where you have rural locations and the road crews don't get to those rural locations quickly, and those are bus routes, I suspect there'll be school closings, at least in some areas, all next week, because these temperatures are not really conducive to a lot of melting. So that's what we have for you at this point. We'll see you at 4 o'clock. I honestly don't anticipate the forecast changing much at this point. I think we've kind of nailed it down to where we think we're in a good situation to let you know what's going on and what will be going on, and trying to help you prepare. With these overnight cold temperatures, one thing you can do if you've had trouble with pipes freezing, open your cabinet doors underneath the sinks, kind of let the air from the room get under there. That's one thing you can do. Leave a little water dripping early tomorrow morning, and again early on as we go into Monday morning when we get another big surge of, that cold air, potentially sub-zero temperatures. So those are the things you want to be watching for in addition to the travel problems. Your pets want to be inside too. We're going to take tonight at 7 o'clock. We'll answer some questions. We've been trying to do that on our text line, 314-425-5553. Is that right? 5355. That was close. 5355. Okay, maybe I should remember it like that. Easier to remember 2 numbers than 4. But we try to answer those as we can. Obviously, we're going to get busy here this afternoon with all of our newscasts. But tonight at 7, we will go over some of your questions and try to answer whatever we can for you. I know a lot of people have been wondering about travel. I would not plan on, and I'm not planning on driving anywhere on Sunday. And if I were you, I've told my kids, you're not going anywhere on Sunday. I told the whole family, nobody's moving on Sunday. Play a board game. So that's the way we stand right now. It is coming up on 3:25 on this Friday afternoon. The cold is here. The first wave of snow comes tomorrow. It's not that big of a deal, but so cold, it's going to stick. The big deal with snow is going to be overnight Saturday night into Sunday. So that's the latest we have for you right now. We'll keep you updated right here, streaming on 5+. And, of course, we'll have our newscast coming up here tonight. And then at 7 o'clock, we'll do some questions and some answers. Hopefully I have answers for you.